Well, it looks like the Red Sox have their first signing of 2025. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. In today's video, we are breaking down the very first pen-to-paper agreement the Boston Red Sox have made this offseason, why they made this deal, and how this could impact 2025. But before we get into that, just a heads up, you may be looking at my face being like, what is that? Well, we're raising money for Movember, a charity dedicated to men's mental and physical health around the globe. Our goal this month is $1,500, and halfway through, we're almost there. If you want to help us reach our $1,500 donation goal, click the link in the description or the comment section down below. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so just a few hours ago, it was announced that the Boston Red Sox are in agreement with Justin Wilson, a veteran reliever, on a one-year deal. Now, for those of you who aren't too familiar with Justin Wilson, don't worry, you're certainly not alone, and Justin is kind of the definition of a veteran left-handed arm. He's 37 years old, he spent 12 seasons in Major League Baseball with 6 different teams, and the lefty, which I think is important to note, has had a really solid career out of the bullpen. He has a 3.61 ERA with a 3.57 FIP. His strikeouts look good, about 25.8% on his career. His walks are okay at 10.2. Definitely could be a little bit better, as that is slightly above league average, but it's certainly nothing to shake your head at, all leading to a 1.14 ERA plus, about 14% above league average production. He has been a pretty solid reliever for a while now. Recently, though, things haven't exactly gone Justin Wilson's way. He was injured in 2022, and it caused him to miss all of 2023 as well, finally coming back for most of 2024. And when he did come back, Justin didn't exactly readjust to Major League Baseball all that well. He had a 5.59 ERA in 46 2/3 innings, and a lower but still not great 4.72 FIP. He had the highest WHIP of his career at 1.457, which is a whole lot of traffic on the base pass, and ultimately a 79 ERA plus. He was about 21% less productive than the average pitcher in Major League Baseball this year. Now, I know a lot of people are just going to see the last season of his career and say, what the hell? The Red Sox are dumpster diving again. Here we go. Oh boy, full throttle 2.0. And before we get all those comments, one, this is just the first signing of the offseason, right? It's not like they can swoop in and sign Juan Soto like this. There are certainly a much longer process to get a more impactful guy. So, of course, the smaller players are going to come off the board first. But the second is, before we start complaining about the Red Sox being cheap or lying to us again for some reason, let's break down why the Red Sox may have wanted someone like Justin Wilson and look a little bit deeper into it, because I do think it's important to do that. Taking a look at his Baseball Savant page, it tells a similar story to what his 2024 statistics said, although there are a couple of things that I think are important to take note of. The first one is that he was fantastic at getting players to chase on pitches outside of the zone. Actually, he was one of the best in Major League Baseball with a 33.8% chase rate on those pitches. The second thing is that he was above average in strikeouts and walks, which means he was pounding the strike zone, which is always a positive, and it is something that Breslow and Bailey both really emphasize when they're talking about whether or not they can really bring a pitcher to another level. So I think that had a lot to do with it as well. And the third thing, in my opinion, the biggest standout thing, is that Justin Wilson actually was pretty productive outside of his fastball. His fastball was disgusting, and not in a good way. It was really, really bad. I mean, this thing was getting absolutely torched. You talk about a 333 average, a 642 slug against it. It just wasn't a very good pitch. But his slider, cutter, and splitter were a much different story. In fact, they were all pretty solid. The slider had a 257 average with a 362 slug. The cutter had a 250 average with a 423 slug. And the splitter, which was only used 9 times to be fair, didn't see a single hit. We know the Red Sox are and have been trying to lean into this idea that they are going to look more towards off-speed pitches than they are fastballs, right? It's why they saw some of these players that they saw this year really take steps forward, and Justin Wilson really feels like a prime candidate to be able to do that. He's got the veteran knowledge. Now you combine that with Craig Breslow's and Andrew Bailey's approach, and I think there is something to why the Red Sox may have wanted to sign him, but we also got got to talk about the contract and how this could impact 2025, plus ultimately whether or not we like this deal. Now, in terms of the actual contract itself, I'm actually a bit surprised by this. One, because it is a major league deal. I figured with his sort of sample of work last year, with the age that he is, and with the options the Red Sox have currently on this team, I thought it'd be a minor league contract, but I was wrong. It was a major league deal. The other part of this deal that I'm surprised by is just simply the numbers itself. I figured this was going to be something like a 1-year, $1 million deal with maybe some incentives involved, but in fact, it is a 1-year, $2.25 million deal with $750,000 in performance bonuses. Now, what those performance bonuses are, we've got 5 levels maxing out at 60 games, which would make it a $3 million deal. Basically, it's just every certain amount of games, he's going to get a little bit more money. Now, to be honest with you, I still don't hate this contract. It's still a short-term deal, which I think if they signed anything more than a 1-year deal, people, including myself, would have been really upset about. But two, because the money still isn't crazy. Yes, it's more than I initially thought it was going to be, but $2.25 million is what? A drop in the bucket for a team like the Boston Red Sox. It's not like they're fully committing to a long-term deal with this guy that's 37 years old. They're committing to a 1-year contract that if worst case scenario happens, they can easily dispose of, whether that's a DFA, whether that's a trade where they eat all the money, right? There's a whole lot of ways the Red Sox can end up with this deal. So if we take a look at the statistics and we take a look at the contract itself, I don't hate the deal. I don't think this is a terrible deal for the Boston Red Sox. It's definitely not a contract where I'm sitting there going, hallelujah, right? The Sox are back, baby. This is it. They said full throttle last year. Well, get ready for full throttle 2.0. No, right? Of course not. This is a depth piece signing, but I think it does serve some purpose for the 2025 Red Sox. We've talked about it before. This bullpen was absolutely terrible in the second half of the 2024 season. Justin Wilson didn't look fantastic last year, but he was also coming off an injury. If you look at the full body of work, he's a pretty solid left-handed reliever. They're clearly taking a chance here that they see something, whether it be the, hey, if we focus more on off-speed pitches, he was a productive pitcher last year, or whether it be something else that they could tap into to get him back closer to what his league average statistics or what his career average statistics are. And if they can get there, well, then guess what, you guys, we have a reliable left-handed middle reliever, which again, right now, the Red Sox really don't have a ton of options up. You've got Boozer, Penrod, and Bernardino. And I guess you could throw Bailey Horn in there too, although I could see him as a DFA candidate possibly. We'll get into that in a later video, but none of those guys really worked terribly consistent this year, or they didn't have enough of a sample size to be labeled consistent. If Justin Wilson can come in and do that, he serves an important role, and that's why I like this contract. It's sort of this low-risk, medium reward, right? He's never going to be a Cy Young candidate or an all-star closer or anything. Best case scenario, they bring him into spring training. They tell him, hey, look, your spot's on the 26-man roster isn't fully guaranteed. We understand we gave you big league money, but there's going to be some competition here, and best case scenario, works out great, and the Red Sox have a left-handed option that brings more versatility and more stability to a bullpen. It's a veteran presence that hopefully is able to calm and guide some of these younger arms that are hopefully going to be a part of the Red Sox bullpen next year. And of course, he's going to be a solid player on the field. Worst case scenario, not even worst case scenario, just the other scenario here is that he fights for a spring training spot. He doesn't do well enough. The Red Sox feel as though he's going to be a legitimate impact. And again, you DFA him and you don't think about it again, right? It's not like this guy's getting paid $10 million a year. So that's why I sit here and I'm not happy about this signing, but I'm also not sad about it either. These are the type of signings that you use to sort of fill out the back roster spot. Now, it's funny every offseason, it feels like we're so focused on these high impact players. And so when the Red Sox first move is always not one of those super high impact guys, everyone starts to panic, right? You start to get the, oh no, they're going to dumpster dive again. Oh, this is what they've been doing over the last couple of years. But like I said earlier in this video, it takes a lot longer for a deal to come together for a player like Juan Soto or Corbin Burns or Max Fried or Blake Snell or really anyone of high caliber talent than it does for a 37-year-old reliever who's probably going to sign a minor league deal if the Red Sox didn't sign him. So I don't totally hate this. I don't totally think this is an indication that this is going to be the big addition to the Red Sox bullpen this offseason. It still leaves plenty of room for you to add bigger, more impactful players in the bullpen and elsewhere. I think it's just sort of that first baby step into a bunch of other steps that we're going to hopefully see much bigger ones of in the coming months. So at the end of the day, do I hate this deal? No. Do I love this deal? Absolutely not. Do I think it could work out for the Sox? Yeah, I do think it could if you look at some of the stuff we brought up in this video. Do I think there's a possibility of it not? Yeah, absolutely, of course, right? It's hard to ignore 2024. It's just one of those, you're sitting on the fence, you see which side you fall on, take a chance. If it doesn't work out, no harm, no foul. So that's why I like this contract. And hopefully this is just the first of many bigger contracts to come, but we still got a while to go until that happens. So let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think? What do you think of the Red Sox first off-season signing of the year? Is it what you wanted? Actually, you know what? Scratch that. I know that's not what you guys wanted. Is this something you're happy about? Are you mad about it? What are your thoughts on Justin Wilson joining the Boston Red Sox for 2025 in the comment section down below? As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just simply helps them out a ton. It's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Don't forget, if you want to listen instead of watch these episodes, all you got to do, head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.